Hi guys, it's SkintBoot here, and today what I'm going to be bringing you guys is the very first Beyond video. So the day has finally come, August the 14th, the day of No Man's Sky Beyond. You know, this big ass update which is advertised to rival Next. And while the community is enjoying the update, the other half is not. Steam still hasn't got the fucking update as of recording. It's currently 4 PM. Consoles received this update about 3 to 4 hours ago, and PC still has absolutely no word on what is going on. Valve's fault or not, it's frustrating as hell, but nonetheless, here's a patch note video for you guys. Please do sit back and relax. Let's get started. So this is expected, but I'm not going to be covering every single minor change or addition that has come with Beyond. So as a result of this, I will link the official patch notes in the description of the video, since there are a fair amount of smaller features that aren't shown off. So please do check out the official post for a full picture. First up, we have some details relating to the expanded multiplayer, or No Man's Sky Online as we should begin to call it. So the basics of this relate to the number of visible players online. The space anomaly can now hold 16 players across all platforms, and throughout the rest of the universe, the maximum player count has been increased from 4 to 8 players on console, which is barely an upgrade, and from 4 to 32 on PC. So this means that encountering random players will no longer result in an orb, but rather a fully functioning player model, which is great. Note the differences between platforms though. Some people might be upset with the inequality, but this was the case with games like Battlefield and 64 players before the franchise moved to next generation consoles. The hardware is obviously different, and from what I've heard, the game actually runs like shit at the moment on PlayStation 4, so there is no surprise really that PC has more visible players and there's more going on and stuff like that. It's just different hardware, it's the way it's always been, and it's the way it always will be. Next up, we have what's described as the best time to start a new journey, meaning the game's tutorial system and opening levels have been streamlined to teach new mechanics a lot easier. As well as this, new story content has also been added to weave together the 3 different main stories, which is a surprise addition, I will say that, but a welcome one for sure. This goes for pinning formulas as well, which now display detailed instructions on how to craft items and better guidance in complex missions. In essence, missions and crafting should be way less independent. You're not going to be scouring a planet for some resource you've never seen before, and I'm really happy with this change. Moving on now, we have some ambient multiplayer, which is basically what I described in my first paragraph. There is a new addition of being able to instantly partner up with random explorers you encounter, which is nice, and on PC, text chat can be managed with groups and shit like that. Pretty much, random encounters have been fleshed out to shit. Up next, we have the new social hub. Now, there's nothing new here. This is the same little hub that we've seen from the teaser trailers, and I've made 1001 videos about them already, so I'm not going to go over what these details are. Now, when it comes down to this social hub, it is essentially the anomaly. It is the same building after all, and because of this, it can be spawned in when you're in space. It's basically a place to meet with friends or strangers, and alongside this is the ability to travel to other players' bases directly from the building, as well as featured bases that are picked up for being nicely built and showcased on this big kind of podium for people to look at and visit. Relating to this, we now have the NEXUS missions. So the NEXUS is actually what's inside the anomaly, not the entire building, which is something kind of confusing. The NEXUS is that little square thing that allows for unique multiplayer missions to commence. The rewards for completing these grant you nanites, units, items, etc, and will also include Quicksilver somewhere down the line once the community events make a return. So moving on to one of the most interesting additions to Beyond, we now have technology trees, which apparently replace the blueprint analyzer in your base. Now, since I haven't played the update, I can't really explain how this fully works, but I believe that upgrades are now organized better visually and have their own set halves. This also applies to freighters, multi-tools, exocraft and starships, so pretty cool stuff. I just wish I could actually fucking experience it instead of blagging my ass off and probably getting all of it wrong. Anyway, onto some smaller stuff now. We have some general gameplay balances that aim to make gameplay feel less grindy and slow. The most notable are changes to mining, with less frequent and less aggressive sentinels, and the mining beam now cooling down gradually instead of instantly, as well as outputting more damage the hotter it gets. Oh, and there's also a new staircase, which was added to the space station. You know, kind of out of nowhere, but that's really fucking nice. There are a load of quality of life improvements here, which would take a great deal of time to go over, but in essence, a lot of balancing has been done. The big old grind problem with No Man's Sky should be less of an issue now than it was at, say, launch or with Next or what have you. So let's get some rapid fire features in here. The discovery page was updated a shit ton to display 3D models and procedurally generated information, as well as the galaxy map also being done up to make navigation easier and information clearer. There is a lot of quality of life improvements, and this does extend to the menus. New traveler NPCs have also been added to allow for interactions, missions and nanite earning opportunities. Relating to this, NPC dialogue has been revamped, featuring mini stories and missions, as well as new animations, more clear and defined moods, as well as style and general aesthetic. Learning alien language has also been changed, allowing the player to choose what category of word they would like to learn, and the addition of an auto translator, which will allow a small number of unknown words to be translated. NPCs are also dynamic and can be seen on planet surfaces and in space stations, whereby they interact with their environment. They might be looking at a ship, getting out of a ship, looking on a little iPad, touching a chair, what have you. Creatures have also seen an overhaul with the ability to tame and ride them, as well as milk them. I don't know why that has become a meme in the community. This system then transfers into the new cooking system, which allows you to create food off planetary plants, which is also another addition. These items, which you can cook up, increase health and act as life support fuel. So think of it more as a fancy Thamium 9 or whatever the fuck it's called now, instead of Minecraft Hunger. Hunger is not some sort of new addition, as far as I know. So one of my favorite things is the fact that the game has reportedly been optimized a shit ton with Vulkan. This is something which we knew about from the old experimental build, but obviously because the update isn't yet out on PC, we don't know how much of an effect this is going to have. However, for consoles, it doesn't seem to be doing its job, as the performance is apparently worse. Something which is obviously going to be ironed out, but at the moment it is supposedly unplayable for a large amount of people. Now, because the optimization is supposed to be getting a major improvement, this is allowing for improved base building with all new parts, a logic system, as well as a better UI. There are a fuck ton of base parts that have been added. There's new extractors, there's new finding chemicals under the ground and shit like that. There's so much to it, and hopefully this optimization is actually decent for PC and was introduced to allow for bigger bases to flourish. Moving on to the final features now, starships have been improved a shit ton with all new interiors, as well as scaling improvements to make them look larger when compared to the player and the environment. They look really damn good now. It was kind of like when Next overhauled the ships. It's sort of like that, but on steroids. Finally, we have some new PC options that allow for presets and minor adjustments like resolution, VSync and windowed mode to be enabled and disabled without a game restart. Probably one of my favorite things in this whole entire fucking update is the fact that I can put VSync on and off without having to restart the entire game. Oh, and we can also sit on chairs now. So those are the biggest show-off advertised features for No Man's Sky Beyond. I'm sorry if this video was a bit more negative than usual, but I think a lot of us in the community right now, especially in the PC community, are just a little bit annoyed that half of the community are just enjoying this update and having a fucking blast, whilst the other half is completely left in the dark, not knowing what's going on. Is this Steam's fault? Is this Hello Games' fault? What's going on? When's the time? Like anything, just a tweet or something like that would be fucking lovely. But by the time you watch this video, the update will most likely be out, and there will of course be Beyond gameplay actually in the background of this video, so it's not like we're never gonna play it, but it's just frustrating. But anyway, those are the features. Please do check out the full patch notes, which will be linked in the description of the video. I just want to say thank you very much for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. If you guys enjoyed it, then please do feel free to leave a like on it, and if you guys could also subscribe to MZK, then that'd be absolutely fantastic. And as always, I will see you guys on my next video. This is SkintBoot, signing out.